Hey guys, it's me, Jemn. Oh my gosh, I just it's been a whirlwind day. The lighting stinks. I'm so like anyway, I just woke up. Like I said, I'm trying to get my morning vlogs in. As you can see, I got a little bit of a haircut. Okay. I don't know what it's doing up here. It rained yesterday right after I got my haircut. So it was looking really cute. Billy had it really cute. And then I got my toes done yesterday. I had told you guys yesterday oh, by the way, I'm Jemn and welcome to my channel. It is 5/28, 2020, and we're still in the middle of quarantine. But I was able to make appointments for my haircut because, oh, it was looking a little rough. And it got wet yesterday, so like all my hair is like doing this crazy thing. So I just want to give you a little update. Today was not a good scale day. And I think it's because I haven't been doing enough water. I also know that I've been putting in the work. Like my steps have been, I think I had 6,000 some steps yesterday. Um, I had 8,000, almost 9,000 the day before. So I'm like, I've been killing it because at work, I'm trying to clean up my room. So, long story short, and with that being said, my weight loss journey is not where I want it to be, but I'm still under. I'm not going over. I was doing this yo-yo thing over the 30 mark, the 230 mark, and but I was hovering there. Now I'm hovering like at 225. So anybody who's paying attention, that's a big thing. So anyway, that being said, I am, getting my classroom back on, getting that shut down, have everything off of my walls. I have everything packed up. Actually, I have my vehicle is stocked full. Yesterday, I was supposed to do walkthrough on the house, and come to find out, they had the closing date too early. So it will be next week sometime. I've put in all the paperwork, everything's supposedly, it's just a matter of it going to underwriters and knowing that I have enough money um, for um, for the closing costs. So even if it was gifted to me, I still have to prove that I can pay. So that's a huge thing with VA loans, that they want to make sure you can pay. So having said that, I am I'm really excited about what's happening. It really kind of changed some things for me. I was going to rent a truck and just hold on to it since closing was going to be today, and then Friday was going to be where I could start moving things in and get the keys and stuff. So maybe this is the better thing. And there's a thunderstorm and it'll give me time to get my utilities cut on in my name and everything like that. So having said all that, um, I am so nervous about everything. Haven't been able to sleep, haven't been able to eat well. Yesterday I stayed under my caloric intake, although I do have to admit I've got these wonderful ice cream is my Achilles heel. That and bread. So I found the Kodiak cakes, which are like predominantly like more protein and grain than a carb. And what I mean by grain is like it's a fiber. And so it's really good for my digestive system. So having said that, in our bodies do what they do. I'm still taking my supplements, as you can see. I'm got all my little pills here, and there's a whole lot of them. But supplements are for your benefit, and so your body has everything that it needs, especially when you're changing, you're trying to eat better, and maybe we haven't had the right nutrition in our systems in the first place. So said all that. So since the house closing, and I know everything seems like I'm a rabbit all over the place, but since the house isn't closing, I decided to get a storage unit just so I could clear out my classroom. I got a smaller one than I normally would have gotten. Um, However, it's very important that it only has my school stuff in it, and it's only like $47 a month. So until I get the house closed on, I think I can do a month. Hopefully, that way I get it out mm, by the end of the month. Then I should be fine. But I was very strategic in getting that set up. And so anyway, um, I'm pleased that that is going to be done. I've got somebody helping me tomorrow move all of my stuff out of my classroom in one trip. Sergeant Major Caldwell, he's such a great guy, and he's like, I was like, you have a truck? And he goes, well, you may not need my trailer. So we talked about how much I've got, and I said, just go check in my room. I said, it's really the tables and chairs. And I said, the chairs are the hardest part. The tables are not. The chairs are the part that is like, oh my God, I can't believe I got this much crap. So anyway, that's just my thing. I didn't want to move twice. I think that was my thing, is I didn't want to move things to a storage unit, then move them again to the house. I was hoping that I could move everything into the house and be done one track moving. I've thought about selling them, but I don't know if I'm going to end up using them in my next classroom setup. So I don't know how the classroom is going to look. I don't know. I don't know any of that stuff. Like, I don't know. The governor's got some things going on. So anyway, so many questions, so many changes, and I'm still at peace, but it's still stressful. And the reason I'm not worried about things, I'm just like, I think that I just want it to be settled. But I'm trusting God through the whole process. I am truly trusting God through the whole process. He has been so amazing. I didn't even plan on buying a house, and I apply in February. I get approved for $150,000, which I'm still like, I couldn't even, like, y'all just don't me. Back in 2002, right before the stock market crashed. Actually, it was 2007, six. I had bought a house in Indiana, and it was a 1800 at turn of the century. I think it was 1889 was when it was built, or 98 or something like that. It was like truly turn of the century Victorian style home. And in northern Indiana, we had basements, Michigan style basements, but it had cement, so there were ledges. It wasn't a basement you wanted to finish. It had the laundry in it. And I still couldn't believe it was mine. And I was trying to get all the wallpaper off and do all this stuff. There had been people in there that had renovated the bathroom, so I didn't have to do any bathroom renovations. The bedrooms were fairly decent, but yeah, one of the rooms had red walls. And my daughter wanted the bigger room. She didn't care that the other room was purple and pink and all that stuff. So she wanted the red room. My son ended up having the purple room, and we had to paint that like white. There's so many things I learned in that purchase. And then one day I left for work when the kids were home, and the kitchen ceiling crashed. So it was my first experience with home ownership was not the best. The utility bills, oh my gosh, in Northern Indiana, we heat with natural gas and we heat the whole house. And there's no way in those old homes to shut them down. And I didn't know how the fireplace really worked, so I didn't want to really like start a fire and then have the whole home burn down, which probably would have saved me on my mortgage and everything like that. Because it could have been total loss and it would have been over. Um, but anyway, it ended up I got what was it? An ARM mortgage. And that is not a good thing. So if anybody ever tries to talk you into getting a home on an ARM mortgage, it sounds good initially. You have great interest rate initially. Once the interest changes, so does the rent, or so does the mortgage. And so my mortgage went from 500 and something a month to 1,000. And my utility bill was 800 for gas. Yeah. I did not make 2 grand a month just to have a roof over my head. So I made a decision and I paid my utilities. I ended up losing the house and it legitimately, well, I ended up getting paid back for it for some of the stuff because it was fraudulent lending and the people got sued, whatever. And I should never have gotten qualified for that much home, even though it was like, I think my home was only like 78, maybe 80,000, which is totally like doable. It should have been 500-600 a month, period. But yeah, yeah. Because you can see I'm sipping tea now. I'm not sipping coffee. I actually gave my Keurig away yesterday, simply because, well, because I want to start fresh. I want everything to be fresh where I'm going. So having said that, I'm good with that. I'm good with that. And if I have two other coffee makers, three actually, if you count the big bullet one. Um, it's definitely, I'm trying to get off the addiction, and I know it's an addiction because when I was feeling bubble guts and stuff, I think a lot of it was because I only had 1 cup of coffee, and I've been having more than 1 cup of coffee. And so that hasn't been the best. Oh, I'm supposed to be doing an online class. Oh, well, I just wanted to share my disappointments and assertions. Yesterday, too, there was a gentleman who was killed by the police in Minneapolis. And his name was Floyd. Last name was Floyd. And the police officer killed him by putting his knee on his neck, not his back, his neck. And my whole thing is the officer had his hands in his pocket. The guy was not fighting. I don't even understand. I can't fathom it. And when one of my friends called me today or yesterday, she shared with me, she said, I have 2 Black men in my home. And she's Black, you know. She goes, well, what did I do bringing my son in this world? And I said, do you know how many slaves probably thought that too? I mean, just what am I bringing this child in this world? And there were no options back then. I mean, you had a child. You got pregnant, you had a child, or it died. Infancy mortality rate was huge, especially in the African American community because nutrition was bad. Okay. She's a history teacher. I'm an English teacher. But I have educated myself about Black culture. And I'm just going to say this right here. And maybe somebody gets the bite. I don't know. Maybe somebody's going to pay attention to me. But I have two children that are African American. They're grown. They're not babies anymore. And my son, I can feel his anger. I can feel his disappointment in the world around him. And I told him a long time ago, I said, we need police officers like you. He said, Mom, I can't do it. He goes, all of my friends are robbers, drug addicts, drug dealers. He said, I'll be arresting my friends. And I said, honey, your friends are not doing right. He said, but Mom, they're not bad people. They're just trying to make a living. And I got to thinking about that. I said, it's perspective. It's really perspective. First, I have been born white. Okay. The only time that I feared the police was one time we were looking at this house my dad was going to rent so he could do his business. It was in Middlebury. I'll never forget it. And the lady said, and we were able to walk around it. I guess we weren't able to get inside the house, but we were walking around it. And the neighbors were like, we're calling the police. That's trespassing. And we were like, what? And so, at the time we were Mennonite. And so I'm like, we're not up to anything bad. Like, we're looking at this property to rent. So I was so scared of the police coming to take me away from my parents. Now, granted, my dad and my mom, I mean, they lacked some things, but they were good people. And and my mom is still a good person. My dad is since passed on, but that incident made me scared for a little while. And then I realized they're not really going to do anything except tell you to move on. Okay, that is my white privilege idea. All right. When my children, who are not known by the police in my community, would come to my house. Now, I live in another state. I live in another city. I live where my kids did not grow up. But I live in a predominantly mixed community. And when I say mixed community, it's really like we have Blacks that are highly educated. We have whites that are highly educated. We have impoverished Blacks. We have impoverished whites. We have affluent Hispanics. We have impoverished Hispanics. You name it. Every ethnicity is here in this town. They actually call it the All-American City because you can see a license plate from every state in the Union here at Fort Bragg in Fayetteville, North Carolina. So, but if my children were to walk up to my house and my neighbors did not know who they were, I can guarantee you that the police would be called. Yesterday, and I just realized this yesterday, there was a boy who knocked on the door trying to sell like pest control. And he was white and he was dropping all these names like, oh, your neighbor down there, Sean, and this. And I said, I'm moving. He was like, well, then this property I said, this is a rental. My landlord has this under control. And he does. My landlord is amazing. Oh my God, he's amazing. Him and his wife, the best people in the world to rent from, to work with. But I tell you what, I've got to thinking, I said, they don't have men that look like my son walking around with this shirt on because of the climate today. And one thing that Will Smith said, it's not that there's more injustice happening. It's just being filmed, you dummies. I mean, you want to kill a group of people, but there's cameras everywhere. You're dumb. You're absolutely stupid. What is the purpose in crushing a man's neck? What is the purpose in chasing somebody running through the neighborhood who is in jogging clothes, not carrying a gun, not looking behind him, running for his life? And honestly, let's talk about the white dudes that are stealing too. You're not chasing them down with shotguns. I'm sorry. This could be my child. This could be one of my students. This could be my friend's child. And I'm going to say this. I'll never forget the night. I don't even know the day, but it was like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, maybe 4, that my friend Tan, who lived across the hall from me, we lived in condo, second floor, banging on my door. It's just her and I up on the second floor, banging on my door. She's like, Jemn, come on, Jemn. I was like, what? She said, Crystal's son got shot. We were gone. I put shoes on. We were gone. Like, no hesitation. We just took off. Wherever Crystal was, we wanted to be there to support her. Because had it been one of her sons, and the sad thing of it is, I knew the kid who killed him. But if it were a police officer, the kid who killed my friend's son got 68 years. Had it been a police officer, I don't think he would have got any. And I swear to you, what they did to that Mr. Floyd, and I'm going to address him as Mr. Floyd because he deserves some respect. They need to be prosecuted. It's got to stop. And law enforcement has to police their own better than what they're doing. There are officers in there that they're loving the fact they have a gun. But man, you're going after people's children, people's fathers, just because you don't understand what's going on and you're not willing to de-escalate. You're thinking you're right with whatever by any means necessary. Man, if Malcolm X were alive today. But I'm telling you, and I know this to be true, if that wasn't on camera, the situation would have been different. Situation would have been different. Or could have been different. The whole thing could have been different by somebody backing up. Just backing up. De-escalate. Why are you antagonizing somebody? And the reality of it is, we don't even know what the guy was doing prior to. He's dead for what? A traffic stop? A traffic stop. Who gives a who cares if he was smoking weed? I don't know if that was what he was doing. Who cares if he had a busted tail light? I don't care if he ran a stop sign. That's no reason to kill anybody. Oh, Jesus. And if we, the body of Christ, and if we that are white with privilege, because I wasn't born with a silver spoon, but I was born white. And I know that I have a different privilege because I don't have to know that fear. I don't have to know what my children know. I didn't even think to tell my son about driving while black, about walking in the neighborhood while black, about being out in large groups of people that happen to be black. Our kids know. They know early. That breaks my heart. We want people to know Jesus. But if you don't show love to the least of these, the ones who are oppressed and depressed, where are we going to show it? How are they going to see Jesus if the people that have power don't act like they know Jesus? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to start crying. It just breaks my heart. It really does. And as you can see, I didn't put any makeup on because I had a feeling. Uh, this day is just. Anyway, have a great day, y'all.